You know an industry is in desperate trouble when legendary names start surviving on a single model and a prayer. Right now, some of the most recognizable car brands on the planet are quietly falling apart behind the shining showroom lights. Using recent sales data, official financial filings, and real dealer reports, we've identified 8 brands showing genuine collapse signals heading directly into 2026. And the scary part? A few of these names you've trusted your entire life. Let's break it down completely, starting from the least bad to the single most precarious brand in the business. Number 8, Lancia. Starting things off is a name many of you outside Europe probably haven't heard in decades, and there's a specific reason for that. Lancia, the legendary Italian brand that once completely owned rally racing and built some of the most gorgeous cars to ever roll off an assembly line, currently sells exactly one car, the Ypsilon, a small hatchback available almost exclusively in Europe. One car, one continent. That's the whole catalog. Here's the shocking collapse signal. According to full-year data from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association, or ACEA, Lancia's sales crashed by 64% in 2025, dropping to just 11,754 cars. Compare that to 2022, when the Ypsilon alone moved over 40,000 units in Italy alone, according to official registration data. That's not a typical slowdown, that's a total freefall. So why is this happening? Pure neglect. Lancia spent nearly a full decade as an Italy-only forgotten afterthought under parent company Stellantis, quietly fading from public memory while aggressive rivals kept launching new models. A 2024 relaunch tried bringing the brand back to France, Spain, Belgium, and Germany, but the new Ypsilon costs significantly more than its old predecessor, competes directly against near-identical Stellantis siblings like the Peugeot 208 and the Opel Corsa, and Germany, one of Europe's biggest car markets, was barely even fully rolled out. What does this mean for you? If you live in the United States or Canada, the conversation is already over. Lancia does not sell here and has zero service infrastructure on this entire side of the Atlantic. Even in Europe, you're betting on a single model brand backed by a giant parent company posting its own massive losses. Resale value for a name half your neighbors have never heard of? Not great. Stay far away if you're outside Europe, full stop. If you are in Europe, only proceed with verified local dealer support because this brand's footprint could shrink even further before it grows. Still speaking of brands quietly gutting themselves, wait until you see what number 7 just did to its own lineup. Up next at number 7, Infiniti. This is Nissan's luxury division, and the signal here is one of the most telling in the entire industry. The brand just cut its volume-driving models entirely. Infiniti confirmed that production of the QX50 and QX55 ended completely in December 2025, with leftover inventory lasting only through summer 2026, according to Automotive News, as reported by Motor Authority and Cars Direct. That leaves Infiniti entering 2026 with essentially 2 vehicles on sale, the QX60 and QX80, while BMW alone offers more than 30 different models, according to Cars Direct. Why? Years of severe underinvestment left the lineup incredibly stale. The QX50 launched back in 2019 and was nearly 7 years old at discontinuation in a competitive segment that typically refreshes every 4 to 5 years. Rather than redesign, Infiniti chose to kill these models and wait patiently for the QX65, a new crossover expected later this year. But waiting is extremely expensive, and worried dealers have told trade publications that current volume is, in their exact words, nowhere near enough. Parent company Nissan is also navigating serious financial trouble of its own. If this kind of straight-talk car reporting is useful to you, do us a huge favor right now and hit subscribe, because we publish this kind of detailed breakdown every single week. So what does this really mean for buyers? Rapid depreciation is the headline risk. When a brand shrinks its lineup, used values for existing models suffer Tier 1 drops. Parts and service access is a real 10-year concern too, since Infiniti's dealer network is already thinner than its luxury rivals, and a 2-model showroom doesn't exactly draw heavy foot traffic. Stay far away if you plan to hold the vehicle past 5 years and care deeply about resale or dealer accessibility. Go check right now how many Infiniti dealers exist within a reasonable drive of your home, because that number may get even smaller. If you think a luxury brand gutting its own lineup sounds bad, Wait until you hear what number 6 has been doing to intelligent investor money. Sliding into number 6, Polestar. This is the Swedish-designed, Chinese-owned EV brand, and the staggering number defining this entry is $2.36 billion. The net loss Polestar posted for full year 2025. That loss is 15% larger than the $2 billion loss the year before per Polestar's official fourth quarter and full year 2025 earnings release, and confirmed by Bloomberg. Losses are not shrinking, instead they are growing aggressively, and in the fourth quarter of 2025, Polestar's United States deliveries cratered by 60% year-over-year to fewer than 1,000 units for an entire quarter. So why is this happening? Polestar is squeezed hard from both sides. On one end, brutal margin pressure means the company has been selling cars at a negative gross margin, losing money before overhead is even counted per its own financial filings. The company reported a full-year gross margin of negative 35.4% per Electrif.com. On the other end, United States tariffs on Chinese-made EVs hammered American sales, since major portions of the lineup are built exclusively in China. The company has been on a near-constant emergency fundraising tour, and majority owner Geely's Chinese ownership has gone from feeling stable to feeling like total uncertainty itself. Worse, the Polestar 2, once the brand's volume seller, quietly disappeared through 2025 with no confirmed United States replacement timeline. It's incredibly hard to convince a buyer that a brand isn't struggling when its best-selling car has effectively been pulled from the lineup and nothing has stepped up to replace it. So what does this mean for buyers? Parts access through Volvo's shared network offers some protection, but resale value is genuinely shaky. A brand selling fewer than 1,000 cars a quarter in America isn't generating the second-hand volume that supports healthy residuals. To make matters worse, if Polestar ever restructures or retreats completely from the United States, existing owners face a brutal resale environment. Stay far away if you're buying primarily as a financial decision and need strong resale value. Polestar is fascinating engineering wrapped in serious financial fragility. Now, from a brand burning cash to a brand that pulled off one of the most spectacular own goals in modern automotive history. Landing at number 5, Jaguar. Hear this very slowly. In April 2025, Jaguar registered 49 vehicles across the entire continent of Europe. Not 49,000, 49 cars. 1 year earlier, that same month saw 1,961 registrations, meaning Jaguar's year-over-year collapse hit 97.5%, among the steepest monthly declines ever recorded for a premium automaker per data from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. From January through April 2025, total European sales were down 75.1%, according to ACEE data cited across multiple outlets, including CBT News. Why? Jaguar pulled off something genuinely remarkable. It discontinued nearly its entire lineup before replacements were even ready. The XE, the XF, the F-Type, the E-Pace, the I-Pace, all gone. Then in November 2024, Jaguar launched a highly controversial rebrand as widely documented by Autoblog. This rebrand featured car-free imagery and strange slogans like "Copy nothing, all before a single new model existed to buy." Bold strategy. The result was empty showrooms, bewildered dealers, and customers who genuinely didn't know if Jaguar still sold cars. Because for a while, it effectively did not. Its first new vehicle, an electric Grand Tourer aimed at wealthy Bentley buyers around $200,000, wasn't expected until late 2025 at the earliest, meaning Jaguar essentially went dark for the better part of a year. What does this mean for buyers? If you own a current Jaguar, resale uncertainty is immediate. Second-hand buyers are extremely hesitant to purchase from a brand entirely reinventing its identity. The good news is parent company JLR remains profitable thanks to Land Rover, so Jaguar isn't going bankrupt, but it's absolutely in an identity crisis. In fact, JLR reported £2.5 billion in profits for FY25, driven by Land Rover per IB Times UK. Stay far away if you're buying a current Jaguar expecting investment-grade resale. And if you're eyeing the new ultra-luxury EVs, wait until the product, the dealer network, and the brand identity are fully established. Up next, a brand bleeding money so fast its 2025 losses made Wall Street analysts visibly wince. Number 4, Lucid Motors. This moves us into independent EV startup territory, and Lucid is the poster child for this crisis. Lucid posted a $3.5 billion operating loss for 2025 per Lucid's official full-year 2025 earnings release filed with the SEC. The company delivered just 15,841 vehicles all year, 88% fewer than the 135,000. It proudly promised investors at its IPO revenue hit $1.35 billion against a promised $14 billion, a massive miss of over 90% per Lucid's SEC filings. Then in early 2026, Lucid recalled every single Gravity SUV it had built, over 4,400 vehicles over improperly welded seatbelt anchors. Lucid's stock has lost nearly 75% of its value over the past year. Why? Lucid is trapped in the classic EV startup death spiral. High production costs, shrinking federal incentives, cooling demand for premium electric vehicles, and a steep starting price near $70,000 that has proven far harder to fill than expected. Legacy automakers now compete with scale advantages a startup simply cannot match. Lucid survives mainly because Saudi Arabia's public investment fund owns roughly 60% of the company and keeps injecting fresh cash. What does this mean for buyers? This is the most binary risk on our list. If Lucid survives, today's owners are probably fine. If it follows the likes of Fisker, Lordstown, and Canoo directly into bankruptcy, resale value collapses completely, and specialized repairs become nearly impossible since no third-party network exists for Lucid's proprietary systems. And because Lucid's software and hardware are so tightly integrated and proprietary that risk doesn't just affect resale, it affects whether you can even get the car fixed at all 5 years from now. Stay far away if you're buying anything beyond the absolute base trim and planning to keep it as a long-term daily driver. This existential risk is real and not going anywhere. And speaking of real risk, number 3 involves a brand whose United States sales dropped 36% last year, with a fourth quarter so bad it made the annual number look generous. Number 3, Alfa Romeo. For a lot of you, this is the most surprising entry because Alfa has genuine fans and genuinely good cars, especially the Giulia and Stelvio. But good cars and good sales numbers are two different conversations right now. United States shipments plunged 36% in 2025 to just 5,652 vehicles total. The Giulia and Stelvio each fell 41%. Then came the fourth quarter, where United States volume cratered 57% year over year per Stellantis' full year 2025 US sales results. That's not a trend, that's a steep cliff edge. Two things happening at once. First, the cars are simply OLD. The Giulia and Stelvio still ride on the Giorgio platform from 2017, and their replacements have been delayed repeatedly, while Stellantis reworked plans to add combustion engines back into vehicles originally designed as EVs. Second, Alfa completely abandoned its near-term all-electric plan, according to Alfa Romeo North America head Chris Fuel, creating real product confusion. And the Junior crossover, which sells well in Europe, simply isn't offered in America, leaving the brand with no affordable entry point here. What does this mean for buyers? Depreciation is steep and getting even steeper. A brand moving fewer than 6,000 cars a year cannot support strong resale values. Alfa's American dealer footprint is already thin, and low-volume dealers reconsidering their franchises is a real concern. Parts delays over a 5 to 10 year horizon are a genuine risk, especially for the aging Giorgio platform. And because Stellantis keeps delaying the platform's replacement, that risk only grows the longer you hold onto the car, which is exactly the opposite of what you want from a long-term purchase. Stay far away if you plan to own the car for 7+ years, or if there is no dedicated Alfa Romeo dealer within a reasonable distance of your home. The car is good. The brand's support infrastructure in America right now is not. And at number 2, we arrive at a brand losing an estimated $25,000 on every single car it sells, and it is nowhere close to stopping. Real quick, if this kind of straight talk reporting is useful to you, hit that like button right now. Help us spread the word and help even more people see this before they make an expensive mistake. Climbing into the runner-up spot, number 2, Maserati. In 2017, Maserati sold over 51,000 cars globally. By 2025, that number had completely collapsed to just 7,900 units, a 30% decline from 2024 alone per Stellantis' full-year 2025 annual report, and the brand's lowest global figure since 2012. Revenue from January through June 2025 fell to 368 million euros, down from over 1.3 billion euros across the same period in 2023. In 2 years, revenue shrank by 72%. Stellantis has confirmed it is losing roughly $25,000 on every single Maserati sold, an estimate reported by The Truth About Cars in February 2026. In early 2025, it canceled a planned $1.57 billion investment into the brand, according to Stellantis financial reports. Why is this happening? Well, Maserati is stuck in the worst possible spot in luxury. It is too expensive to feel approachable, not exclusive enough to rival Ferrari or Lamborghini, and not innovative enough to compete with modern high-end EVs from Porsche. When prices climbed to improve margins, buyers simply pivoted to Porsche instead. Factory production in Turin fell 74% in 2024, and Stellantis' CEO refused to confirm whether Maserati will even be sold when asked directly by reporters. What does this mean for buyers? Resale value is already dreadful and getting worse. Parts and service access require active management, not assumption, since the dealer footprint is incredibly unstable. Losing $25,000 per car is simply unsustainable long-term. Stay far away if you care at all about resale value, parts support, or brand stability. Maserati makes beautiful, historically significant cars, but as a 2026 purchase, the financial risk is severe. Number 1, Chrysler. And finally, the single most precarious brand in America right now, Chrysler. Let that sink in deeply. Once a pillar of the industry alongside Ford and General Motors, the brand that gave us the 300, the Crossfire, the PT Cruiser, sedans, convertibles, an entire showroom full of choices. Today, Chrysler sells exactly one vehicle family in the United States, the Pacifica minivan. That's the entire brand on a single nameplate, and the picture behind it is catastrophic. Parent company Stellantis posted a net loss of 22.3 billion euros, roughly $26.3 billion for 2025, the largest annual loss in company history per Stellantis' official full-year 2025 financial results press release. United States sales have declined for 7 consecutive years straight, and Stellantis' own sales chief told dealers bluntly in February 2026 that excuses are over. Chrysler entered 2026 with inventory levels more than double the industry average according to CarScoops, and its plug-in hybrid Pacifica was discontinued entirely for the new model year. Why? A full decade of total brand abandonment. Chrysler's product pipeline has sat completely empty for years, with teased electric crossovers and no clear timeline, while Stellantis slashes EV budgets industry-wide to stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, according to Toyota Motor North America's official sales data, Toyota moved over 76 hybrid Siennas in the US by the end of 2024, marking a massive 50.5% jump in sales volume compared to the previous year, while Chrysler just canceled its own hybrid option. What does this mean for buyers? If you genuinely need a minivan today, the Pacifica is a competitive product, and parts support should stay stable near term since components are shared widely across Stellantis' platforms. But resale value is a legitimate worry. A one-model brand backed by a parent posting $26 billion in losses does not command premium used prices. And history shows exactly what happens next. Just ask Plymouth, Oldsmobile, and Mercury. Stellantis hasn't publicly promised that Chrysler will survive its next round of aggressive cost cuts, and that silence alone speaks volumes. Stay far away if you expect Pacifica resale to match a Toyota Sienna, or if you're hoping Chrysler offers anything beyond a minivan anytime soon. So there you have it, 8 brands, 8 documented collapse signals, and what each one means directly for your wallet. Lancia is a single-model brand clinging to Europe. Infiniti gutted its own lineup. Polestar is burning through billions. Jaguar paused its entire business and called it a rebrand. Lucid is losing more per car than most people earn in a month. Alfa Romeo is hemorrhaging United States market share. Maserati is losing money on every sale. And Chrysler, the most precarious of all, now sells exactly one vehicle. These aren't opinions, these are facts, and they should absolutely shape your next buying decision. Now click on the next video on your screen because, trust us, there's more you need to know before you sign anything. Stay smart out there.